Hi everybody, welcome to Art Day. Time to draw. Today I thought I'd do something a little different. I'm working in my toned gray Strathmore sketchbook where I usually work with colored pencils and some ink to do some sketches, but today I'm changing things up a tiny little bit. I'm working with soft pastel pencils and probably some what are they called? Colored pencils. Some colored pencils on top. So I already picked my color palette for my red robin, and got some grays, oranges, browns, greens, whites, blue, and reds, and I got my blending stumps here. And the first thing I want to do is sharpen my pencils a bit, because some of them, ooh, already getting some shavings onto my paper. I don't want that, which means I need to empty out my sharpener here in a minute. Maybe I should do that now. Totally unprepared for the video. Oh gosh, Miss King. This is not how you work. But what I thought when deciding on what I want to draw today or what I want to do today, for one, I wanted to go back to drawing, because I just really like it, and I think it's a wonderful way to improve your skills when it comes to artwork. Again, at this stage or at this point, not everything is a masterpiece, and that is what I use my sketchbook for. For not everything to be a masterpiece. And I got a little lead in my in my sharpener, and now it flies everywhere. Gosh, not good. Anyway, I thought I'd get back to sketching because I want to improve my drawing skills. And I haven't worked on them in so long that I thought it's just time, you know, to flex those muscles again. And usually I do draw with pencils or with a graphite pencil, something like that. And I probably say it every time on these videos, but I really gotta clean my table. I just totally forget whenever I finish a video and I hit the record button to stop my camera from recording. I'm then in blog post mode, so I'm trying to remember to get all the photos and note all the supplies that I used, and then I go to my computer and do post-production, and then I totally forget to clean my table. So I wonder if I managed this year. I mean, time of recording is the 11th of December, so I still got half a month left. I'm not sure if I will manage. Anyways, the thought behind today's project was, for one, I want to get back to drawing. I want to stretch my muscles there and get a little better. And I do have a reference photo next to me, which I can't show because copyright, but it is just a reference photo of a red robin. And while I tell you what I want to do, I'm starting to sketch out things here already. And you see I go in with the soft pastels right away. There's no graphite pencil sketch underneath. Why I chose to go for soft pastels, For one, I haven't worked with them in so long. I can't even remember. It's been, I think, 2.5 years, I guess. And I've been looking at them for a while and having projects in mind to use them, because I like to use my supplies. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to do this with the soft pastels, and I'm going to do that with the soft pastels. And then I never get around to it. So this morning, or actually last night when I started preparing my project for today, I thought, well, this is something to do with the soft pastels, this drawing of the red robin. Reason being that I kind of want to have a soft look, and I think with pastels you can really achieve that. You can work in a way where you don't get as many contrasts. With the pastels, you can work really soft. That sounds so weird. Yeah, I can have a soft look to it. No harsh contrasts, no harsh lines. And I kind of wanted to have like a fuzzy look of the red robin. And I had thought that the soft pastels would just really work well like that. So I was very happy to pull them off the shelf today. And another thing that I wanted to do is see if they work well as a mixed media supply. I know they're not bad like that. I mean, you can layer things, and that is very, very helpful. But I wondered if I could have colored pencils, oil-based colored pencils at that, as a layer on top to just get those little bits of contrast that I want to have. So I want this to be a rather fussy kind of looking piece, but I need some contrast and I want some contrast. So I thought, well, let's give it a try test it in my sketchbook and see what comes of it, you know. And the subject of the red robin is actually because we do have a red robin on my patio, in the bushes around my patio. So we called her Rosie, because why not name the bird? She is our house bird. She lives here. And I thought, well, she's been with us all winter and we've named her, and she's beautiful. She's a lovely bird, and she's really trusting us. She comes quite close. Meanwhile, so that changed from when we moved in. She now knows us, and she's quite happy to get close to us, which is awesome. So I thought, why not draw her? I mean, I think red robins are kind of winter birds. Many artists draw or paint them in winter, which is totally cool. So I thought I'm just gonna draw her as well. So I'm just pretty much blocking in the shapes and colors of her. I will get to blending and everything a little later, but I just want to block in some color to get her going. Now I need a little bit of a cool gray, because down here it's more like a cool gray that she has on her feathers, and then it moves into a warm gray. So I should have maybe put her a little more to the right, because I'm running out of space here. But this is her bottom, and then there's the tail. So as you can see, I'm very loosely just sketching in the shape of her. She has a tiny little bit of an orange tint here. So, or I should maybe have used the light brown for that. It's more like a raw sienna. And it goes up to here actually. It's just a tint. And then there's the legs. So she's sitting something like so. And the other one's back here. Something like that. And then there's a tree branch that she's sitting on. Oh gosh, I gotta sneeze. Hoo-hoo, please, no, no, no. Nose, behave. I don't want to sneeze right now. Oh, I'm sorry. Hoo-hoo-hoo. So she has a tree branch right here. And these are with pastels are so many ugly stages. This is quite disheartening, I think. You gotta be aware that there are ugly stages and that you can work on things later on. But at this point, I always hate the way pastels look when you just put down some pigment there. It's so disheartening, I gotta say. Okay. All right, let's get rid of the ugly stage and blend the first layer. And I just have these paper stumps here. And I'm just going in little circles to blend my pastels together. Make it look a little cuter. I have to be careful when I go around the eye, because I don't want that brown to smudge into my orange too much. Blend, blend, blend. And in between oh, it's off screen, but I do have a paper towel next to me, and I wipe off the excess so that I don't smudge things too much. But you see, I do. So I really have to work on the blue some more, because she has quite a bit of lovely blue. Yeah, I should take the other side for the blue and not have the orange in there. That could help. So I'm using this side here for blue. And the other side for the browns. Some more blue here on the wing. Back to my orangey warm gray. Cleaning up my stump and then going for the warm gray. And then I'm taking a different kind of a stump, not this side, not that one. I need a clean stump for my white. Let's try this. And then I'm going in and just very lightly go over the red legs and the tree. She's just a little bit too thin for me down here. She's actually quite a big bird. So I'm just gonna make her a little bit bigger, a little fluffier, so to say. So that would be pretty much the base coat. So I'm gonna give her a second layer. But not all the way. But especially the blues, the blue shades, I want some more because they are really prominent in the reference photos. So I want to copy that. And there's a little blue here on the wing. Something like that. And then I'm going around that light brown to blend it out just a tiny bit. I still want those lines to show, but I don't want them to look like ink lines in a coloring book where you color something in. I want them to blend into my drawing. So I'm just softening them a tiny little bit. So for the background, that is the word, I want to put in some greens and some whites. So I have 2 shades of green and a little white. And I think I want a little bit of green. It's quite a yellowish green here. Just to indicate somewhat of a background. Not necessarily like a whole background where you can see details or anything. I don't want to go that far. But I want some color splotches that I can blend out that do indicate, okay, there's leaves or pine needles or something. Something's in the background, and I want a little bit of white because we are in winter. So I want to have this a little lighter and indicate maybe there's something like snow. So I'm just blocking that in. And again, I don't want this to be in focus at all. Just want this to be quite fuzzy. So I'm gonna blend the heck out of this. You know, I could always add colored pencil on top if I wanted some more definition maybe. And that is something that I'm gonna think about once I have my pastel layer down. Because the white doesn't show up too much with the pastels here. So there's plenty of room for me to work with colored pencils on top and show somewhat of that white, just enhance the contrast. But it's nice to have the colors blocked in so I know where my whites will go with the colored pencils. But this is good just to block in some colors. So I need more of the white here. And some more of the cool gray. Now this is a layer that I'm not going to blend anymore. I'm just going to put down the pastel and not go over it with those blending tools. This is the point where I want some more texture. So I'm just adding a little bit of contrast or texture like feathers, just adding that in. Which I can then leave and not have blended out with my blending tool. This is where a reference photo helps, just for you to see in what directions do those feathers go and how to draw them in. Pretty much just building up my bird here. And depending on what kind of feathers she has, so either short ones or the longer ones, this is what determines how I move my pencil onto the orange. I'm gonna take a little bit of a darker shade of the orange first. I just saw she has a little bit of a blue up here as well, so I'm just going to add that. And I'm taking the darker orange for this part. I'm gonna move back to my lighter orange in a minute. Because here on the chest she's way lighter. So I'm even gonna add a little bit of white here. She's kind of fuzzy, whitish orange on that particular part. And there was a phone call, so I don't remember what I said last, but I think I was somewhere on this part of Rosie and was saying that she was quite light on that particular part. So now I'm moving back to my lighter orange. And I'm just filling in this section here. Oh yeah, she has a little bit of a darker feather or a shadow here because she's just curling herself up because it's probably a little cold for her. So drawing these in, you can't barely see single feathers on that section, so I can fill them in a little better. Like more solid, I should say, not better. Better is the wrong word. Alrighty. So there's a little bit of a darker part here around the peak. Okay. And I'm not gonna take care of the eye now, because that is something to do later with colored pencils. I'm really curious how they will work on top of the soft pastels. I'm gonna add a little bit of a light gray here, just a smidge, and then I can go back to that tree branch, add just some definition, just a little bit. There's little fuzzy bits that just sit here. It's like the bark is almost falling off of that tree part. So adding a tiny little more of the red. Here. This is where it maybe is sometimes a little difficult to sketch in with the pastels right away, because with the feet, if you have the wrong thing going on, you can't really repair something. But I can try and just blend some of the things here with the green. So I will add a second layer of greens and a little white in the background, because this is just too few, too little for me. I want this fuzzy, yes, but I want color. So I don't want the background to be that desaturated. So I'm just adding a little more. And I think I'm not gonna blend out that part either, just to bring both the background and the focal point together. And last but not least, a little bit of white. Just gonna smudge it here at the edges, but not in the center part. Alright, so this is pretty much the base layer. Now I will spray this with a fixative and let it dry, and then I can go on top with colored pencils, I hope. So I'm just gonna put a little cardstock behind it. Shake my can, shake it, shake it, shake it. And then spray this very lightly. Looks weird, I know, darkens things up, but once this is dry, I should be able to work on top, so I'm gonna see you once this is dry. So, now that my fixative is dry, I can start with a couple of details, and I wanna start with the light blue. I do have my polychromos pencils next to me, so I want to see if I can put them on top and just have a little bit of detail. We'll see how that goes. I'm gonna use my paper towel here to not smudge anything. I'm just going around for the details, so there's a little bit of a light line on the beak, like so. And these details on that size of drawing, I would very much struggle to put those in with the pastels. That's why I like to have my colored pencils on top. So I'm gonna darken up a few of these feathers, and I'm gonna add a different kind of a brown here for the feathers here. That's a little too light. I need this in a darker shade, this kind of brown, so I'm taking my walnut brown. Let's see if this, yeah, this is the one. So I have to pay attention now to my reference photo to see where, in what direction those feathers go. And they go something like this. Same with the blue here. They go something like this. And there's a little bit of almost like a beige cream tone right behind the eye on the feathers. So I'm going to use my, what's it called? Ivory. My ivory pencil to put those in. Like so. And then back to my walnut. For these feathers here in the back. A little more of the blue here, and those feathers go like this. And some of them already point down a tiny bit. I will also introduce my favorite shading color, indigo blue, for a little bit of contrast in between. Not too much, but just to create a little more depth here and there, adding a tiny little bit of that dark blue. On to the oranges. This is actually something a little more like a terracotta. So I'm going to take my terracotta pencil and sharpen it and use that for the feathers here. So she has something like that going on. I can still pull quite a bit of the pastel, but not too much actually, which is kind of cool. And she has a bit of a darker brown there, but more of a reddish brown. So I'm gonna add another pencil, especially here around the beak. Then it goes into the more terracotta kind of shade. Words are sometimes not that easy, aren't they? And there's a little more of the orange coming in. And the feathers on this part that I just colored are so short that I don't really need to put them in there. It's not visible in what direction they go. So I'm pretty much just putting a layer of that dark brown and terracotta down, and now I'm just blending it into a little more of a lighter orange. This part is not really visible on where the feathers go, like what direction they go in, so I'm just blending. I'm gonna use my cream pencil on top of the white here to bring the two together. Towards the bottom of the chest here on that orange part, it goes more into the brown shadow again, and shade, not shadow. Oh, words, guys. So, and back here, it's a little more orangey. So first, a bit of orange. And then the terracotta to bring in more like a light brown shade and blend. Back here it gets a little darker, so in with the burnt sienna pencil. Something like that. Now I can go back to my blue, and there's a little bit of cream here as well. So just adding a tiny bit. And my light blue pencil, and just a tiny bit of indigo. I can go on to the wing. She has a very light tone of feathers there, so can't really see what the direction is. These are more of the longer feathers, and they lay neatly next to each other. So I'm just going to blend that together. And she has a little more of visible feathers, like what directions they go. Down here. And then it's less blue, but more to the browns and grays up here. So I'm going to introduce a warm gray, a rather dark one for this section up here. And then I'm trying to blend these parts together to make them one wing. There's a little bit of a bluish tint back here. Just a tiny little bit of a lighter spot up here. This is the part of the piece that, well, makes it stand out from the background, but also it's the part that takes the longest because you gotta put in all the details and get your color values right. As best as you can. I mean, this is really just a sketch. Not anywhere near realism, and it's not supposed to be. It's my sketchbook. I just want to play a tiny bit, but still I want to get things right, you know. Gonna add a little bit more of the dark indigo here just to indicate some of the feathers, like give it a little more texture. And then we do have that white section up here that gradually goes into cool gray, warm gray. So I'm starting with the really white part. And then it goes into a light cool gray. And slowly and quite gradually goes a little darker down here, because she casts a shadow on herself. This is where the mix of light blue and cool gray comes in. And then we move into the warm grays, a little lighter tone. She's quite fussy here, so I can't really make out where, in what direction the feathers go. You can't really see a lot of details, so I'm just going to blend things together here, make it not as textured. Gotta turn my page. And then I go in with a darker shade of warm gray. And down here there's a little bit of a orangey brown tint. Since I like to have color repetition, I'm just going to add a little bit of the indigo blue here to outline the tail. And now I can go on to the legs. They are dark red, purple-ish. So I'm taking a little bit of a red here. And also a little bit of a warm purple. There is almost like a creamish part up here. And again, trusty indigo to put on top to knock back that red purple shade a bit. And on the other part, there's also a little bit of cream here on the top. Then don't think I got the legs right. I'm actually pretty sure of that. But I guess it's fine. You gotta learn. You really have to pay attention to your reference photo, and I think I messed it up with the in the pastel stage. Oh well. She's almost starting to fly or falling over. Great. Anyways, on to the tree trunk. Also putting in some of the indigo there, just to cool it down. And a little bit of light gray, because it seems like the branch is wet. So There's a little bit of a reflection there. The weird birdie. I really don't like the legs. Honestly, this is driving me nuts. But well, you gotta let it go sometimes. Maybe try again on another day. So I'm just gonna go around and add a little bit of indigo. And then I can take care of the eye, because I disregarded the eye so far. So she has quite a bit of a darker shade up here. And then there's a white highlight here. There's a little bit like a white rim around her eye down here. And I think I want to use my trusty gel pen to draw in the highlight, just adding a little more something like that. There's the weird bird. I so don't like. I'm okay with this part. I'm not okay with this part, but I can't do anything about it now. So let's see. All I can do is maybe do something like this to put the one leg in front of her and the other in the back. Yeah, I think that's all I can do about now, and I don't like it. Oh well. I'm just gonna start fussing with this piece here. I can already feel it coming on, which is the point that I don't like at all. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, she says, while drawing in way more lines. No, I'm gonna leave it at that and come back to this painting or this drawing maybe another time, and maybe get her right. I mean, she doesn't look that bad on my camera screen up there, but looking at the original, it's like, nah, nope. Maybe if I tilt it, nope, doesn't make things better. So this is the Weird Red Robin. I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. What did this video teach us? Well, you can put colored pencils on top of soft pastel pencils rather easily, so that worked pretty well. But don't forget to check back with your reference photo so often when you put down the first layer and you're not working with erasable pencils. That's the lesson of today. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I will be back with another video in 2 weeks. Happy Art Day. Do something great. Do some art, even if it's just a tiny little doodle or a weird red robin, just like I did. So have fun, take good care. The information of the materials is on my blog post, so you can hop on over to pinselgeschichten.de to check that out. And thanks again for watching. Have a good day. Bye.